Hi everyone, I hope you are having a good time. Today you are going to learn important information and add to your knowledge about the works, the ideas, and the thoughts of Martin Luther. But before I proceed, I have two important points to put before you. The first point relates to the nomenclature, and that is that those students who are less acquainted with the Western society and the contemporary history, they might have heard the name Martin Luther King. So please don't mix these two names. Martin Luther King was a prominent revolutionary figure in the 20th century American society. The other point that I would like to put very briefly is that those students who are joining us for the first time, please note that this is a series of videos about the history of English literature. And in our previous lectures, we had been talking about the Renaissance. We tried to clarify the concept, its definition, the way it began, and the way it spread to different parts of Europe. And then we talked about humanism and its importance, and then certain popular personalities associated with the humanism movement. And that generally is treated as the starting point of the Renaissance movement. If you remember, when we were talking about the Protestant Reformation, we had a discussion about Martin Luther with reference to his 95 Theses. So, to start from there, we say that it was a traditional practice that if someone would be confused or not very clear, or someone who would carry certain objections to the Christian church or to the Catholic authorities, they would, post their questions, and then they would find a logical answer to those points. The same thing was done by Martin Luther, who was, by the way, a professor. And his points were not actually meant to disrupt and to destabilize the Catholic Church. In fact, what he wanted was a healthy debate and a solution and answer to his queries. But unfortunately, instead of getting answers to those points and queries, a controversy, or you can say a series of controversies at religious and political levels erupted, and that later on resulted not only in polarization but the creation of another section of Christian faith, and that we generally identify as Protestant faith. So, in a sense, Protestants are those people. This can be a general definition, not very particular and exact, because we are not students of religion, so we may not be knowing too much about the subtle intricacies involved in the differences and the polarization in the thoughts of different scholars. But generally speaking, we say that what Luther preached and what he thought is generally summed up in the concept of Lutheranism, and his followers are known as the Protestants. Now, to learn about his thoughts and ideas, there was a general tradition or a practice in his time that people or the church authorities had given importance to the papal authority in relation to Bible as part of the Christian faith. So in a sense, if you are a Christian, you must believe in what Bible says or teaches, and you should also follow the authority of the Pope, and then you can expect to become a good Christian. But Martin Luther was not in favor of this justification. He said that Bible is the only source of faith, and you cannot add other authorities in addition to the Bible. So in a sense, Martin Luther thought papal authority and its inclusion in the biblical, like its association with the Bible, as a corrupting practice on the part of the church authorities. So he rejected that. The other point, we say that when it came to salvation, he said that this is only possible through faith. So again, if you talk about salvation in relation to faith, the Catholic Church of course did not have any objection to this statement, but if read with the first one, faith would include papal authority for the Catholics but not for Martin Luther. So there was a difference in the ingredients of determining what would become a Christian faith. So he said that Bible is the only source of faith, and you can't include church traditions, and those traditions would also include the papal authority as part of faith. Then as I told you, that we are not students of religion, so many concepts would be there that would become difficult for us to explain and understand, particularly for those people who are not Christians. But there is a concept of sacraments, and if you don't know what a sacrament means, you can follow this definition that I have included from Encyclopedia Britannica. So this is available online, and you can have a further reading if you want to read that. But there were several sacraments, and they like the papal authority had exercised its power from time to time in increasing or decreasing its number. So what Martin Luther said was that only some of the sacraments are acceptable according to the teachings of Bible, while the rest are not applicable. And the main argument was that you cannot get rid of your sins all the way in this world, like you have the life hereafter, and there you have that concept of punishment. So with reference to these sacraments, the church authorities had increased means, but they were not according to the Bible, of course. They had increased the means of offering people an opportunity to get rid of their sins, and this was, according to Martin Luther, not in consonance or in accordance with the teachings of Bible. So these were some important points that were raised by Martin Luther, and then he had his counter argument, and this is what we generally identify as Lutheranism, or the teachings of Martin Luther. I hope that you have now somehow an idea about what Martin Luther was following, or what he was expecting. And then as I told you, that there were certain controversies So those controversies led to the establishment of a separate church tradition in the name of Protestant faith, and this is how Protestant faith emerged and was established. In our next video, we will be trying to enter England and talk about the effects or the outcome of the Reformation movement initiated by Martin Luther and his associates in England. So the next video is going to be more interesting for you, because as a student of English history, you will be more interested in learning about England and the English society. So we will be expecting that video soon. In case you have any problem or query with reference to this video, please post your comments, and I will be more than happy to know how do you feel about this lecture. Thank you very much.